was going live, by the way.
What?
Live.
Are we?
Yes. Just went.
Oh.
Good
Well, then, hi.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. We took our plane from, not really down under, but Brazil, Interlagos. We are here now in hot Atlanta for round number 4 of the NORA Sim Truck Series. As always, myself, Josh Conover, with my counterpart in the booth, Mr.
Nick Giles.
And we're about ready to go. A lot of trucks on track, and as you can see, actually on the front stretch, good group of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ready to hope some good racing. No, truck guys are anxious to get back to it. As last week we had a newcomer, Custer, take the win. First race in the truck series, grabbed the win after some questionable strategy from Rowdy Burns. The pit late in the race gave the lead to Custer. He was able to hang on and secure his first win. But right now he is outside of the top 20 in points, so his goal tonight obviously get into the top 20. But as you can now see on the screen, point leader still Mike Skinner, sits 9th on the speed charts. And last week's winner, Cole Custer, right now sitting in 12th. And I believe the furthest up winner is from Sebring, Michael Waltrip, who is 4th in points. Is actually sitting 10th on the speed chart. So, Nick, I know you did some truck testing here. What are you kind of expecting tonight?
As the run goes along, we should see the trucks kind of gravitate a little bit up to the higher side in terms of trying to make some passes. Especially as this inside lane, you can see it already starting to rubber up. But this outside lane, as it rubbers up, you can already see it here. You can get a little bit of a run going in either side, especially on this side. I witnessed some really great runs as Michael Waltrip uses it to actually make a pass in practice. So it can be done. Certainly the inside lane is still going to be your fastest option, but you can go up there. You can run that high line, and I think that's going to be huge because we haven't really seen a really successful high line like even Michael Waltrip's putting in right now.
I mentioned last week's winner, Cole Custer. Did not have a paint scheme last week, but team owner got on the wrap guys and said, hey, we need a scheme. So Custer repping the new colors here this week, and I believe actually his teammate Stuart Friesen as well. Yeah, there it is. Everybody else, I believe, still the same paint. As Zane Smith is the same paint, so we should be good to go. Besides, still missing a couple here and there, but actually Rob McCachran right now top of the board with a 29.666.
Yeah, he finally dethrones Matt Crafton. He's been up there for quite a little while.
So we are actually ready to roll if you are.
Absolutely.
And we will take a look real quick at the track temp. 81 degrees as we are ready to roll to qualifying. As usual, we'll run with the point leader for the first lap, that being Mike Skinner. So he's actually going to the top of Matt Crafton, looks like.
Yeah, I think Crafton might be coming in the pit there on that one. But you can see how well that high line rolls sometimes.
And that track temp, if that is correct, just cooled off 11 degrees. Oh, never mind. There it goes. Okay, 3 degrees.
Wow, that would have been incredible.
We're actually going to go to our fan cam for this one.
Ooh.
So we wait for Skinner and the guys to pull off and get their 2 laps rolling.
There we go. That blue banner defines series points leader.
I know last week we did the same thing, kind of update on the Coke Series race. I mentioned before we went live, Jimmy Mullis got the pole. First caution of the season, lap 5. De Jong blew up in the middle of the lead pack. Kind of a decent wreck there. And then a big one between Blade Witt and Graham Bolin. Unhappy tempers there. And then I believe I just saw another big one too, as Mike Skinner comes to take the green flag.
There we go, Atlanta. You want to Kevin Harvick this as best you can, honestly. Or at least you would think. But Mike Skinner, not all the way down to the bottom through the whole corner. Just kind of really right there as he gets to the end. And you can kind of follow where they're running with that black line. He really gets a nice Kevin Harvick line in through 3 and 4. That's a good looking line there, but we'll see how it turns into lap time wise.
Larson cruising the pole. Chase Elliott now to the pole. So we'll see if that stacks up as everybody else comes through. Right now it looks like it's going to hold up for the time being, but as we've noticed, sometimes, quickest on lap 1 doesn't always equate to the pole. And actually I was correct. I found it. Jimmy Mullis and Brad Davies got together in turn 1 and more cars destroyed. So Coke Series looks like they're having a fun time tonight, but on our end, we'll see who can grab the poles. Elliott completes the second lap. He will hold
Does go
on.
faster. No, he will not.
And what do you know?
Last week's winner.
Actually, with a tie. Look at these times. Oh my.
Wow.
So we have a tie for first. Cole Trickle right there. I believe that'd be 1,000th? 10th? Yeah, 10th. So 1,000th off.
Yep.
Chase Elliott 2,000ths off. Brian Deegan 3,000ths. Bryce Menzies 4,000ths. We have a tie for 7th between McCachran and Waltrip, both 5,000ths behind. Timothy Peters 9,000ths and Rowdy Byrne, I guess it'd be 100th.
Yeah.
And we have to go back to 30th before we find our first driver who's a 10th off the pace at .121.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and to make it even tighter than what I just said there with the 10th, Ricky Rudd in 22nd, a 29.850, still only 500ths off, .058. And your 3 to go home, once again, obviously, will be Rico Abreu, Jacob Weaver, and Tyler Courtney, unfortunately.
Well, they missed in Kentucky. They missed again this week. I just, you got to feel for them partially, but at the same time, you can't really feel bad about the owner really not caring about them.
Actually, Rico was the closest, about 3/10 off, almost 4/10. And everybody else about half a second, if not more. But that being said, we'll go ahead and keep the show moving as we knock those guys out.
Yeah, and this is continuing to make it hard for Rico. He's got to figure out how to qualify into a race or something a couple times to try to even contend for that chance to make the playoffs, but it just isn't looking good at all.
Yeah, like you said, kind of got a feel for him, but at the same time, it's not looking good. I believe we do not have a repeat winner in this series as well, but Cole Custer. And like I said, look just right here at these times. There's 5,000ths between first and 8th. That's amazing. But Cole Custer, last week's winner, trying to assert his dominance here, as we've seen Kevin Harvick try to do in the Xfinity Series. But he'll be on pole. Blade Timmons will be to his outside. Cole Trickle 3rd. Chase Elliott 4th. Brian Deegan 5th, Bryce Menzies 6th, Rob McCachran 7th, and Michael Waltrip, your Sebring winner, will roll off from 8th.
In 9th place, we see Timothy Peters. 10th place, Rowdy Burns. 11th place, lining up right behind his teammate, is Matt Crafton. 12th place is Dale Earnhardt Sr., and 13th is Zane Smith. 14th is Bill Elliott. 15th is Larry Rosler. 16th is Ryan Dungey.
17th, your point leader, Mike Skinner. Jimmy Owens will be 18th. Stuart Friesen, 19th. Sheldon Creed, 20th. Christopher Bell, 21st. Ricky Rudd, 22nd. Mikolaj Gailis, 23rd. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be 24th.
25th, we see Papa Bear. 26th is Kyle Larson. 27th is Ryan Conover. And 28th is Russ Wheeler. 29th is Snoop Dogg. 30th is Alexis Susi. And 31st is Harry Potter. 32nd, Tyler Erb.
33rd, we'll see Shane Clanton. 34th, Payne Faust. 35th, Ron Hornaday Jr. And once again, I believe for back-to-back weeks, your final truck to make the field, Spencer Baston. Obviously, right there you see Rico, Weaver, and Courtney.
Before you grid up, let's cover a little bit about Kentucky. More so there was some personal matters that had occurred that I don't think we really need to get into. But we decided that the right decision that I think we're going to go forward with was to host the Kentucky race kind of behind closed doors, so that we could continue on with the schedule, keep everything moving, and continue to move forward as we have throughout the season. And so, for those that are kind of wondering what happened, it was Chase Cabray that would end up winning that race. James Love finished second. There was a lot of incidents that occurred. You guys really missed a wreck fest. I think we only had 18 cars finish the race, so you didn't miss much. But yeah, there's that we hope will be the only time this season or for the foreseeable future that has to happen. There were some reasons behind that moved that into place.
And one to go. You can be on the inside.
The
road is closed.
like I said, hopefully it doesn't have to happen again or anything. But if need be, we'll try and get everybody in the loop and let everybody know. It was actually a good catch. Thank you for bringing that up, because I actually had already forgot about it. But
so we will roll off here from hot Atlanta, Hampton, Georgia, just a little bit to the west of Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta, not very hot right now though.
No, it is not. It is first weekend in March right now.
I think we actually have the right date today. Yep, March 2nd. So that's a plus.
Yep. I think from now on we should be okay with the dates.
But I'm interested to see, I believe it's outside row 5. Yeah, row 5. Rowdy Burns gave away a win last week. Gonna try and hopefully redeem himself. But right now, Cole Custer looks like the man to beat as far as these last couple weeks are concerned.
Yeah, and certainly what's also going to be interesting is watching the inside versus outside line perspective here. We saw it in practice, and it's not a lot, but there is some rubber already built up a little bit on the high line on both sides of the track. Will that be able to play enough of a factor for the outside line to probably get their best chance at a fantastic and possible passing restart?
We'll have to find out, as the field is now in Cole Custer's hands. We are underway for stage number 1 of round 4 of the NORA Sim Truck Series.
And certainly they are the most grouped up. I think we've seen them all season at any race. And here they go. They're already even going 3 wide towards the back of the field. But it is going to be Custer getting out in front. But Cole Trickle is now going to look to his inside to try to take the lead away from him. Going into 3.
Real quick, if this second line can get going, as I would say, this is the tightest, like you said, as they went into 1, the tightest we've seen the field all year. There's even just on a restart is actually Trickle will lead lap 1.
But he may not lead lap 2, as I believe that's Brian Deegan going to his inside now.
Yes, it is.
And Rob McCachran's going to go with him, and following along with both of them is the 2 Nightmare Trucks, Timothy Peters and Matt Crafton. Now, we know Matt Crafton is an incredible talent here at Atlanta in real life. We'll see how it translates to the Sim Series. But now it's Timothy Peters who's going to look to the inside of Rob McCachran. Will he have a chance to lead some laps?
So Custer from your pole got clear, went to the top, opened the door up for Lewis Deegan at the time. He's back to now 7th, still caught on the outside as your point leader's now coming through. And I mentioned Rowdy Burns, who started 10th. And Timothy Peters, who was inside. Well, you see Peters now to the lead. Rowdy Burns still stuck back here in 12th.
Yeah, and the even more surprising there is from the Nightmare crew, Mikolaj, all the way up to 13th now.
Yeah, but you kind of mentioned it as I went to turn 1 for the first time, and I mentioned it because they're coming off of 4. Definitely seen that second line not be as bad as we've seen all season. Especially last week, it seemed like you can kind of hold your own, but that was about all you could do. But right now, that second line definitely being used right now, and some couple guys, even the third line.
Yeah, and it's certainly seeing its use. We see Timothy Peters led the last lap, but now look at Cole Trickle. He managed to get back to that inside line. Larry Rosa leads this time by, but he might not lead the next time. And it's looking like Cole Trickle's going to file through, and look who's now behind Cole Trickle, all the way up from his, I believe it was 17th starting spot.
Yeah, he was he was mired back there, and I just mentioned it a lap or so ago. Roddy Burns back in 12th, and now he's all of a sudden looking for a shot at the top 5.
And this could be a scary moment. We've seen that 3 wide doesn't work on these D-shaped ovals, but they managed to make it work as Mike Skinner, your point leader, goes to the lead in the race now. But here comes that outside line, so it is starting to gain traction. The tires wear just a little bit. And that could be a really interesting factor in this race. I got to say, this is the coolest I think we've seen racing. But certainly the closest.
I'd say most exciting for sure. We again about 45 laps I think we got for fuel, so they obviously can make the stages. But the problem with racing this close, obviously guys getting loose or tight, with all the different setups and stuff like that. But we have an early caution, before the stage end. Is just Roddy Burns is actually going to choose to go to the second groove, which will open the door for Blade Timmons.
But we're going to see how well that second groove works, because here comes Roddy Burns back on the outside. As now Dale Earnhardt Sr. is going to look to the outside to maybe try and make a pass on Mike Skinner.
Definitely the widest groove we've seen. It seems like 1 and 2, especially on entry, definitely not the preferred line, but maybe on exit you can kind of get that run. As here's a familiar sight: Roddy Burns and Cole Trickle door to door.
Yeah, but Trickle, look at him sending it in there 3 wide. Can he make it stick and get around Dale Earnhardt Sr.? And it looks like he will.
Right now, so far so good. As 2 of your trucks now 3 wide with Roddy Burns up on the wall.
And they give the 2 team trucks give each other plenty of room. Timothy certainly pinched Rowdy a little bit up higher, but plenty of room given by the team trucks. And not Matt Crafton. Sorry, I saw the Craftsman on the side. Mike Skinner continues to lead this race. Certainly, I think the most we've seen anybody lead so far. Got out in the lead, and he's just kind of holding on to it.
Yeah, I think right now, definitely the most competitive we've seen out of, say, that second groove, but I still don't think it's in quite yet. Maybe if you can kind of run right where Blade just did, like right in the middle, you'll see he'll get the run. I think it's what you're going to have to do, and maybe not take such a wide arc.
Yeah, it's certainly doable. That line is definitely usable. And we now see Cole Custer, our pole sitter, trying to come and fight back and maybe take the lead from Mike Skinner.
Not quick, too. Meanwhile, Roddy Burns back to 12th, Timothy Peters back to 13th.
How quickly things can change, too, as now Blade Timmons is going to be on the outside, and Matt Crafton's going to look to his inside.
I think Blade's going to find out real quick what we just talked about. And actually, Timothy Peters continues to fall. He's back to now 15th, battling with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Bryce Menzies trying to maybe put his nose in there as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this plays out. As they're now 3 wide again, I believe that was Cole Custer looks to the outside. He gets passed by Bill Elliott, and Mike Skinner just continues to impress here today with an incredible job of really Kevin Harvick line. That thing is on the white line.
I noticed a couple laps ago, he was kind of, and Cole Trickle now too, kind of running the middle of the straightaway, which I think, like I said, the bottom line is the place to be. I think the outside line just can't, keep the momentum up. As you see, Elliot went to that high side, and now Cole Trickle's going to look for a way through.
Yeah, and Matt Crafton followed Bill Elliott up there, but you can see that line does have some speed in it. It's certainly can be used. I think as time goes on, that line is going to end up maybe even being the preferred line in this race.
We touched on it again. Roddy Burns fell out from the top 10, got back to the bottom. He's already back now up to 6 as he gets around Crafton. I saw Peters got back to the bottom, but he is mired back in 15th right now, so he gets by Dale Sr. But we noticed Blade Timmons got called on the outside. He's still on the fall, so he's actually back to 13th right now.
And we've kind of glossed over it with the impressive showing out of Mike Skinner. It's also certainly what nobody wants to see if your name isn't Mike Skinner.
As far as points are concerned.
Exactly, because if he can manage to win a stage, now nobody's gaining points on him in this stage.
Yeah. Actually, these guys have pulled away from not even Zane Smith. They'd be back to
It's going pretty far back.
Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, that's a lot of trucks under a small blanket, really.
Here we go. We're going to see 3 wide, I believe.
As Rowdy Burns is going to try and go for the lead here with a really aggressive move. He might be able to do this. He might finally use that high line.
I had mentioned it, kind of maybe not take the arc and stay right on their door. See if he does the same thing here in 1 and 2. It doesn't look like it on entry. And actually, Rosler's going to take that line, so Burns probably going to fall back a little bit here. Unless he gets a good run, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to kind of keep him clear unless he can, again, stay on Rosler's doors. Skinner, actually moved up to the wall in the straightaway that time.
Yeah, I think with not really having to defend there, he made the move to go all the way up to the wall, run that line as hard as he could, and then kind of continue to do the same thing on this side. When he can get up there, he's going to go up there as long as it's not going to possibly ruin his chance of holding on to the lead and holding that bottom line. Skinner certainly wants to stay on that bottom line all the way around the racetrack.
Yeah, Peters now back up to 11th. To make Crafton right in front of him will be for the final stage points. That'll be an interesting battle to keep our eye on as well. As we actually had a battle for the lead. Yep, Skinner got off the bottom. Gives the lead back to Custer, and Chase Elliott tries to follow through, and he's going to go for the lead now.
Now, what'll be interesting is to see if Mike Skinner can get down to the bottom. He's not going to be able to. Waltrip's going to go through as well. So he's got to figure out how to get down to this bottom line as quickly as possible against it. He can try and get back to that lead, as really this has just kind of been memory of Michigan, essentially. This is just pack racing.
Yeah, it's almost like a smaller version of Daytona at this point.
Yep. And certainly, you gotta love it, I think.
We're going to have another battle for the lead as Waltrip's going to look to the inside of Elliott now. Almost contact made there. Skinner can still not get down.
No, I don't know what's up with that, if he burnt off the tires or what happened there, but he certainly can't go to the front anymore as McCackern and Timmons make contact.
A little loose right there, too. That's actually going to hold Skinner up as McCackern tries to gather the truck back. As Burns goes to the complete outside, it's going to clear him just about getting into 1. But now Skinner back to 9th, and that's going to be 10th as Junior's going to get by. And now Menzies looking to get by to put Skinner out of the stage points.
Yeah, how quickly things can change here at Atlanta.
As we're actually already only 10 to go in this stage, coming to 9 to go.
And now Michael Waltrip leads. Certainly what Mike Skinner wanted to see was Chase Elliott not be the first car, but also having Mike Skinner up there now. Or not Mike Skinner, Michael Waltrip in the lead now. That's going to actually give Mikey the point lead.
It's still early, obviously, got plenty of racing left, but if we've learned anything can happen here, especially early in this run. As it's still back to about 22nd, I believe. Yeah, in this main pack that can kind of have anything happen. As Bell, Rudd, and Larson kind of trying to separate and make a charge back to this pack, hopefully. But Peters right now 13th, and Burns and Skinner actually both now outside of the stage points.
Yeah, and Skinner's finally able to get down, but I think now you're starting to see that high line kind of worked for Rowdy Burns through 1 and 2 there really well. And we'll have to see how this plays out through the rest of it. As you can see, even Chase Elliott's defending now to a large extent on that high line.
Crafton battling with Rob McCackern. Yeah, Rob cleared him, but it wasn't by much. Now Crafton's going to get back to the bottom, but this battle right here, Burns and Skinner put on a heck of a show. And so these guys appear to be for 4th between Rosler and Trickle.
And you can kind of see how that high line just really gets a great run through 3 and 4, or on the outside coming off the corner.
It's actually Burns stays up there again. You saw him come back into the screen. This will actually take us to the battle for the stage points as Menzies still holds that 10th spot.
So certainly you want to get those stage points. Now it's Mike Skinner back into the stage points. Just the last truck in right now.
So Rowdy Burns and Skinner's going to go to the top. It's almost like these guys are preferring that second line. Maybe a little bit easier on tires, but obviously not the fast line at the moment. As I saw Chase Elliott pulled almost I know some guys call it a switchback move to get back under Custer, as we're now 5 to go on the stage. But this battle is hot and heavy for 4th right now.
Absolutely, and Mike Skinner really is trying to get everything he can because he knows if his pit crew's relaying it, the 2 trucks in 1st and 2nd are both 2nd and 4th in points. Roddy Burns is going to really look to the inside of Menzies.
I think he's going under Crafton here
Wow.
too. He does get under Crafton, so Skinner's going to follow through hopefully, which, you know, kind of scary for a second, but at the same time, he also opened the door for you, as that'll put Burns up to 6th if he can get around Crafton. But Crafton actually has a good run to the middle of the corner, and I think Burns is going to be boxed in.
It's going to be Crafton that's going to be boxed in, as now Skinner's going to go right behind his teammate. And Crafton, looking at the 3rd line.
Yeah, no rubber up there yet, buddy.
Well, he's making it work.
We're coming to 3 to go. Just like
I will give credit on that decision. That actually ended up working out well for both Matt Craft and Mike Skinner.
Just like that, though. They were both on the outside looking in. And now with 2.5 to go on the stage, Burns now battling for 5th, with Skinner now leading that next pack in 7th. And now actually Menzies on the outside looking in as he's battling Junior for that 10th and final spot.
Yeah, and certainly Skinner now running 7th. He's going to be able to hold on to that point lead through this stage if he can hold this position. He went from gaining points on all of his competitors to not gain, or to losing the points lead, to now he might be able to hold on to it. Certainly this battle with Blade's going to be important, but that inside line is starting, if the outside can pinch just a little, that inside line is starting to be an issue. I don't think it's running as well now.
Roddy Burns, fastest car on the track right now, hitting 4s. Everybody else is about mid-6s, if not worse. We're on the white flag of stage number 1. So he clearly will not catch the guys ahead of him. But right now the battle's on for 2nd in the stage as Custer gets by Elliot. And all the while, Michael Waltrip out front enjoying this. As Skinner he's up to 6th now.
Yeah, he certainly has got to like seeing that battle behind him.
Yeah. Burns couldn't get there. They come off turn number 4 for the final time in stage number 1. Michael Waltrip will take stage number 1.
There's going to be 10 points for Waltrip, 8 points for Chase Elliott, and I believe 4 points for Mike Skinner. So that was an important deal, though, for Mike Skinner, to being able to get all the way back up to 6th.
And I want to see where this put him, because I saw him drop the time in scoring, but according to iRacing, he crossed the line in 16th. So I wonder what happened there, because he, like I said, he was. Never mind. I'm thinking somebody else. Never mind. For some reason, I thought he was up there, and then he fell back like last second. But
no, he had been back there for a little bit.
Well, I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking he was Skinner, but.
Wasn't he supposed to have a new truck?
Don't know.
I might not have sent it to you. Somebody on my team is supposed to have a Burger King truck.
That was Cup.
Nope, that's all of them. There's one in each
I didn't
series.
know you changed it, so.
Yep.
You didn't send it then. Or if you did, I just didn't know, so.
It's Timothy Peters, supposed to have Burger King, Bobby Labonte, and Xfinity.
Yeah, I didn't know you changed it in all of them.
Yep. Well, either way, they're going to make their pit stops here, and we'll see how they all get on and off pit road. Certainly, pit road can make or break a race. We saw it in the GT4. We've seen it in Xfinity, especially Xfinity.
You've actually got me curious now, because I got to see what's dropped out as far as sponsor-wise. Cole Custer.
Just barely. Roddy Burns out in 3rd. Mike Skinner's out in top 10. Matt Crafton's pit crew is going to be fired. As is probably Blade Timmons.
Yeah, and Mikolaj for that matter too. I saw him mired back there.
He's not as far back as where he had pitted from.
He was top 20. He is now 30th. And Crafton's now 31st. Timmons now 29th.
I was just say, Crafton and Timmons certainly way worse. They both finished in the top 10.
Actually, they both had 32 second stops. Timmons 32.1, Crafton 30 flat.
Jesus.
And Sheldon Creed 2 tires. Because you're not pulling a 9-second pit stop with 4 tires.
Nope. Let me see here.
It actually seems like everybody was in the 20s. So, Custer 26.1, Waltrip 29.6, Burns 29.7, Larry Rosler 15.8, Snoop Dogg 13.8. Everybody was like in the 20s. I think that's the first.
Okay, so I dropped Venom in the truck series.
I don't even remember you
And
sending me a truck for that one.
Yeah, an MB&A. I never did. I know. Yeah, MB&A. That's funny. Which I never sent one for that one either. Because Bobby's been in the interstate batteries the whole season. Well, either way, we're on to stage 2 now.
This is actually a rather quick race. I mean, no cautions, obviously, so that helps, but I can say I'm still surprised.
Yeah, and I'm going to be intrigued to see how Matt Crafton and Blade Timmons decide to try to force their way through the pack, maybe. Because I can't see them wanting to sit back there and get behind in this stage.
This is a little too zoomed out for my liking, so we're going to make an executive decision here and do that a little bit.
It looks a little bit better. Now seeing the inner workings behind what goes on.
Well, I kind of, like you mentioned, I kind of want to see what they have to do, but I figured this would be a good angle for the restart being, we still have
absolutely
all 36 trucks on the track.
Yep. No, I fully agree.
Watch those guys come through. So remember, we got Timmons 29th, Crafton 31st.
We're going to see, and what's also going to be interesting is now, that high line, you can see it in this blimp cam. It definitely has more rubber on it than it did at the start of the race. Will the high line actually work better this time?
Real quick before we go back green.
The blimp cam may not work well.
This track temp's going up. We're about to go back green. Custer going to lead us again to the green flag. And we're underway for stage number 2.
Michael Waltrip gets a good jump on the outside. The first row got a really great jump. Everybody's very nice and stacked up behind them. We'll see now how that outside line plays it out with the older tires, or the fresh tires. We know older tires, that outside line was working well. Is that the key, or is it now that there's rubber on the track?
Larson got put in the wall, it looked like, because Burns is going to go for the lead up front. I heard the contact, and Larson, like I said, in the wall. Did we stay green? And
Skinner is now going to look to make it 3 wide for the lead as the blimp goes behind things.
Burns did lead the lap, though, but he's going to give it right to Snoop Dogg, and Skinner's going to try and focus those in there as well.
And he's going to do so. Mike Skinner goes back to the lead for the first time since losing it and falling out of the stage points earlier.
Another executive decision.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier to see.
The grandstands will probably cut it off a little bit still, but hey, it's better. As Custer's going to fall outside the top 10.
Mike Skinner is not going to lead that lap either. I believe that is Ellenhart Jr. leading the lap with his dad in tow right behind him.
As you mentioned it, Kentucky. Actually, I see Blade Timmons already up inside the top 20. Yeah, he's up to 20th. Crafton to 23rd.
And I see Seabell working really well way up in the field. That bright yellow car. Yeah, that bright yellow truck is visible from anywhere.
You know, like I was getting ready to say before I saw Blade pop into the screen, you know, we mentioned it last week in Kentucky. He wasn't too high of a rating, and he kind of did it last week too. You know, early in the run when everybody got battling, you saw that 20 truck come to life, and I think you're seeing the same thing right here.
Yeah, and we just saw a little bit of straightaway contact between Mike Skinner and Dale Earnhardt Sr. They both kind of got together just a little bit in the middle of the backstretch, and I don't know what that was, but they keep going. It was a weird moment, to say the least. I believe Bryce Menzies might have looked for the lead.
Yeah, he got it right now.
Yep.
Update on your quote-unquote front runners from stage 1 that had bad pit stops. Actually, Roddy Burns back to 15th. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh, I just saw carnage in the rear. I believe it was Ricky Rudd.
Still looking. That it was.
It
He's
was.
on toe.
Wow, I can't believe I called it that well. I just saw a red and white truck. That could have been a lot of people.
Hit the DQ, and we'll go take a look. He's right behind Hornaday, Conover, and actually Blake Crafton there too.
Yeah, I believe it is between Conover and Ricky Rudd.
Little pin.
And it happens right in front of Matt Crafton. Oh,
Papa Bear involved.
Papa Bear gets involved, yeah.
So
certainly not what you want to see there.
That's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Papa Bear still hanging on 29th.
Matt Crafton specifically lucking out of that one and surviving.
Just the 23rd. Bell that quick back to 20th. Timmons battling with Skinner up to 15th now.
Which, by the way, Skinner now all the way back from the top 5 to 17th.
Elliot now your leader. It's Menzies on the outside. So Burns back to 10th. Timmons 11th. Timmons actually going to look under Burns now. So our first DNF of the night.
Goes to Ricky Rudd. Oh, and we might not be done here. Certainly when they start pinching like that, that doesn't end well sometimes.
And we'll keep an eye. You know, obviously we have 2 guys we know for sure now. It's actually, well, yeah, 2 guys. So we got Larson, remember I said was into the wall. And then Papa Bear, obviously, from Rudd get into the wall. So keep an eye on their next pit stop, you know, if they don't pit before then.
Yeah, I don't know that they will pit before then, but certainly to keep an eye on their next pit stop. Matt Crafton taking a bit longer to work his way through the field than Blade Timmons, but he's certainly coming towards the front.
Didn't I say a lap ago that Timmons is right behind Roddy Burns?
Yep.
Burns up to 7th, and Timmons kind of slowed down a little bit. 14th battling with Mike Skinner.
Yep, and Mike Skinner is now going to try and once again have to work his way back into the stage points for the second stage in a row, but certainly he's in the right line to do it. As he's already looking at a battle for 11th.
There's Earnhardt, and I believe that's Custer up front, trying to work by Ryan Deegan. Try and bring Bill Elliott with him, and then even Roddy Burns now. There's your leaders, Elliott and Waltrip. They're kind of staying nose to tail right now, maybe trying to pull away a little bit, give themselves a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, it's certainly not what Mike Skinner wants to see with those 2 up there, but you know, it's a long season. Certainly what nobody wants to see is Michael get up there and get his second win. You know, losing out on the playoff points and everything else that's attached with the win. Certainly not what you want to see, but
real quick, I'll cut you off. My father's calling me, so I'll be right back.
10-4. So we will ride along and follow along with Mike Skinner for the moment, and he's battling to the inside of Blade Timmons. Hold on to that last spot for the points. It's now, I believe that was Rob McCackern got underneath him, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is currently on the outside, trying to hold off Bill Elliott and Rowdy Burns, but it ain't looking good. That high line is not really coming in the way I thought it might. Now is there's more rubber up there. They're 3 wide for a second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to look really deep to the inside. Mike Skinner's up on that outside high line. He's going to fall backwards once more. And now I believe that is Cole Custer putting on a challenge on Michael Waltrip up at the front. But Rowdy Burns looks to the inside of Bill Elliott. He's going to get it done for that position. I think he's going to be able to hold on to that. Brian Deegan's going to try and follow him through. Then Cole Trickle as well. So really interesting is the top 3 nose to tail. They're battling. Brian Deegan gets incredibly loose on that low line and holds up Dale Earnhardt Sr. We'll have to see if those guys can hold on, but that was an incredible loose moment. An excellent save by Brian Deegan. But I don't know that I've seen anybody that loose all season. Now this battle continues to rage for, I believe this is 5th place. So as we actually do have a battle for, I think, the lead. I believe Michael Waltrip has gone around Chase Elliott for the lead. And then we have Cole Custer trying to go with him. And then what I would assume is pass him as well. And what this is now doing with them battling like this, opening up a bigger hole in the way that these trucks are drafting. Here comes Rowdy Burns. We'll see if they continue to battle. Certainly, Michael wants to clear out in front and just drive away so he can win yet another stage. But it's not looking like Cole Custer is going to stick with them. And Rowdy Burns is now there. So this pack is tightening up once more. And we're going to see how this plays out with just 8 laps to go in the stage.
Sorry about that. I had an insulin dilemma, I guess we'll call it. Should be good unless he comes in the house and wants to talk. But yeah, right now, in the meantime, we are alright. Heard your comment about somebody getting loose. I believe you said it was Deegan.
Yes, that truck was a little bit sideways there on the low line for a moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it.
Tell you what, though, it's something I'm noticing. This track is getting rubber down.
Yeah, and as the run goes on, I think it is a bit of the tires, more so than the rubber. The later in the run, the better the high line is. It's still not enough to really use to pass somebody, but it works well enough to defend, it seems like. As now Rowdy Burns is going to look to the inside of Chase Elliott for second. So Rowdy Burns coming to the front.
Right now, update on Timmons, Crafton, and Skinner. Timmons 13th. Actually kind of battling with these guys. You see Crafton right there 14th. Skinner a little ways back in 15th. But 5 to go on the stage. Obviously a lot can happen. I know you mentioned, the draft and stuff. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. See if they can gain any more spots. But yeah, Rowdy Burns coming to the front right now.
As they're actually 3 wide back there in the back of that group with Crafton and Timmons for just a moment. And that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside, who was at one point running in 5th and battling to try to be the lead car there against Rowdy Burns. But now you see Chase Elliott. He was the leader not long ago. He's now all the way back in 5th. And Rowdy Burns is going to look to put this to the inside. This is going to be a challenge for the lead between the Home Depot Ford and the Exxon Ford. And
Looked like you actually got a little bit loose on the bottom as well.
Yeah, actually looked like I think they both got a little loose because Cole Custer really closed up on that.
So it's kind of interesting to see there for a second. I know you obviously, like I said, you mentioned it, but it was still kind of something I hadn't seen, and kind of surprised that it happened, even with all this rubber getting laid down.
Looks like Rowdy, I think he's going to clear Michael this time. Oh, there's that high line fighting back. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Rowdy's going to clear down here. And he's going to probably pull Cole Custer through. Maybe not immediately. Well, I think Custer might now be able to go for the lead here because Rowdy moves up a lane. And we've seen how this works. Now Custer's going to have the inside lane here. And this might open a chance for Michael Waltrip to get back to second.
I don't know, that high line. for 2.5 to go in the stage. That high line, Burns is going to clear back, see if he goes to the bottom. He will.
He does. So that was an excellent use of that high line. I think it does seem like it's working a little bit better through room 1 and 2 than it does through 3 and 4. But now he goes to the high side again, and Custer is going to assume challenge him into 1 again. So he's going to be up high once more as Custer now tries to take a really high line. That's going to hurt him on exit. And I think Burns is once again going to clear him back going into 3.
This is amazing to see. I'm actually enjoying it. Is now Waltrip, who's run the high line and kind of followed Burns, is now going to hopefully follow him to get back to second. As we're going to come to the white flag already on stage number 2. Interesting to see what Burns does this time as he's got cleared. As we take the white, another quick update. Crafton 12th, Timmons 14th, Skinner 15th. As Burns will stay clear. It looks like Custer may be a little snug on entry. Just can't get that thing down to the bottom. As you see, it kind of hurts him tremendously on exit.
Yep, so we are going to see a change for the point lead here for at least the end of the stage. I believe Michael Waltrip will take it over. I think he was only a point behind Chase Elliott, so he took that position at the end of the last stage. With Skinner gaining no points.
Big crash.
That's going to do it. This is, I believe, the Truck Series our closest points battle throughout the field, because I think Crafton did finish 11th. So an excellent job by Crafton to it took him a while, but to go from 30th, 30th all the way to get back up to P11.
Timmons 14, yeah, that's arguably a job well done.
Absolutely, so.
But we saw it last week. This is kind of almost the same position Rowdy Burns was in last week.
Started to come on in that second stage, wins the second stage. Yep. Now he's got the lead. He dominates the final stage. Will it happen again? We sure hope not.
I believe best lap of the race right now is Waltrip with a 2:25. And it's actually funny looking at this. Burns a 3:11, and I mentioned Waltrip's 2:25. Cole Custer's at a 6:51.
That is incredible that he continues to run up front.
And everybody else is pretty much 3, 4, 5s. He's the only one that I see that's in a 6, even back to like Skinner, and even Friesen's only at an 8. So that's kind of odd to see. But I mentioned before the first time, mainly everybody was in the 20-second pit stop bracket. So I wonder if we'll see a change here and these pit crews kind of wake up a little bit.
Yeah, certainly somebody's getting yelled at a certain Menards trucks pit crew.
Depending on what happens here, you can see a lot of guys getting yelled at.
Yeah, we know that pit stops are huge, and they didn't go well for 2 trucks last time. We'll see if they can turn that around, but looks like Junior's going to get out first. Rowdy Burns, second truck, out of his stall, but is he going to be able to beat Custer out? No, Custer with that first stall advantage gets the lead.
So I mentioned everybody in the 20s.
Peter.
Right now, I'll let it kind of cycle through. It's still trying to figure itself out. As Timmons another horrendous pit stop. He's going to be mired again. Let him get off pit road here real quick. Alright, so hopefully it's cycled through. So all the way down to Friesen in 15th. So Elliot, Elliot, okay. So Elliot in 16th is the first driver with a sub 20-second pit stop. Everybody else, 19 and below. Custer 14.7, Burns a 15.1, Deegan 14.7, McCackern 15.7, and Senior with a 16 even. So Peters actually jumps up to 9th, Crafton to 10th. Just mentioned Elliott with a big loss. Timmons back to 22nd again. And who was up here battling for points? And it was Custer, Burns, and Waltrip, right?
Yep.
So Waltrip back to 7th.
And Custer gets the lead again.
So about halfway, a couple laps shy. But just the 2-stage caution so far, 19 lead changes.
Yeah, it has been a great race. I am certainly thrilled with the way that these trucks have been here, and I'm now more excited for every other mile and a half, and the one stop to Michigan we make.
Well, we've talked about it before too. You know, I know
Oh.
we got the big update coming up. I believe we said it was next week. Which, you know, normally every update they kind of tweak the AI a little bit here and there. So it could potentially only get better from here. We might get a new track for the AI, you know, added in. You never know. So this is just the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah, and certainly if we could get, you know, a track that we really deem crucial to our sim series, that, you know, well, we got to put this in over something else, you know.
Yeah.
We'll do it. But I think I like our schedule as it is for right now. But obviously, you know.
Well, it's like you said, it's going to have to be something to where we look at it and we say,
well, this is better than this is something, you know. Yeah.
Or hey,
well,
we just add a whole other week.
Yeah, that's also I think that's what happened with Richmond in the Xfinity series, I believe it was. The Xfinity series was supposed to be 12 races, and all of a sudden Richmond got added, and I was just like, so we're going to Richmond. But I don't know what to get rid of, so we're going to Richmond.
So real quick, we're going to have 66 to go. We go back green. And then we pull up the race analysis here. We mentioned the window. From what our data was showing us, about 44, 45 laps. So, you know, obviously one stop if it goes green, but seeing how these guys have been running and a couple guys getting loose, we could see our first caution. Arguably could have happened right there with Rudd in that last stage, but it's going to be
should have
interesting.
happened with Rudd.
So we're getting ready to go back to green. Actually, once again, didn't win the stage this time, but Cole Custer going to lead us back to green every time. We've had a restart, and we are backing away for stage number 3.
And Rowdy Burns gets an incredible jump that time. I think that's the most even I've seen anybody on the high line at the start-finish line.
And we'll see if he can use that outside to his advantage like he did late in that run.
I don't think it's going to work as well. I think the fresh tires are such a huge factor in what makes these cars really work on that bottom line. And you can just kind of see Custer went up high, and he is no longer your leader. He's all the way back to like 5th or 6th already.
Right now it's showing 3rd on timing and scoring, but we'll keep an eye. Rowdy Burns still stuck up high as well. I see Skinner coming to the front now as he's inside of Rowdy Burns. We're kind of watching Timmons just try and work his way back through the field. Luckily with the blip, you can kind of see a little bit more than your regular TV view.
I believe Michael Waltrip was going for the lead. He has in fact taken the lead.
It is now showing Dale Sr. if ATVO will cooperate and let me pick. As I think ATVO is frozen, and it crashed. So I was right.
Woo. Uh-oh.
You back?
Oh, that's right. It freezes when you have to minimize iRacing.
Okay, so we lost everything I had typed out. But
that's okay.
We're going to try and get this back up and going. I think it's actually the first time ATVO itself has crashed on me.
Now Mike Skinner is going to battle to the inside for 2nd place. He's going to try and get back up here and you know, prove why he's been the points leader for weeks now.
Just the old-fashioned way for a second.
We are seeing 3-5 action for 3rd place. Oh my word, what are they doing? This is dangerous.
They're trying to wreck them up for us.
As Mike Skinner is now going to get to the inside of Michael Waltrip. He's going to go back to the lead for the 3rd time this race. This is just plays into that whole 19 lead changes. You know, they just keep battling every lap for the lead. And I think Rosler might even get Skinner coming off this corner. He is going to be to his inside. And Skinner just barely leads the lap.
Look at old Stewie freezing. Haven't called his name all day. He's now going for 2nd.
He comes.
As I normally don't do this, but I put it on most exciting for a second so I can kind of get everything set back up so it might jump around on you.
Well, it is currently sticking with the front, and there's a good reason for that. It is a heck of a battle up at the front, as Mike Skinner actually is able to use that high side against Stuart Friesen and hold on to second place decently well here. Now Rosler's going to go to the inside. We're going to look at 3 wide as Bryce Menzies is going to go for the lead, and this might bring old Rowdy Burns through as well.
That was a little hairy, if you ask me. We ain't done yet.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we are not done yet. We have seen this not work well, and this is a bad place for it to not work well, but they managed to make it through successfully, thankfully.
And Rowdy Burns says we ain't done yet either. Hold your horses, boys. We're coming.
Yep, he is going to shove it down the inside of Menzies, and he is going to clear him through 1 and 2. Rowdy Burns, your leader once more.
He's trying to make a claim, you know, hey, last week was no fluke. I'm here to play. We were almost 4 wide going into 3 that time.
And that could have been very, very dangerous.
You mentioned Timmons. He had another terrible pit stop. He's already back up to 17th, and he ain't done yet.
Yeah, well, considering what I've been seeing in front of him, he may not want to be all the way up here.
Friesen trying to make that dirt experience pay off, running that very, very high line. As we're going to be 3 wide off the corner. Oh, he's in the wall.
Oh, he actually gets into the wall. I think he made a little bit of contact with Peters, or he just overcorrected coming off to stay off of Peters.
They made a slight contact. But yeah, Friesen definitely got in the wall. Peters, I think, stayed off the wall, but that slowed up Bell and Zane Smith. He's now allowed Harry Potter to get inside of them. Just get back up front real quick. Burns still hanging on. You got Bell, McCachran. Actually,
and Skinner coming through again.
Yeah, McCachran. Nope.
Skinner's coming through and bringing Michael Waltrip with him.
Ooh, I thought we were going to have a rain-shortened race again because it just froze up on me that time.
Oof. Well, thankfully, we are not having one.
Lead now up to 11th. And ATVO just crashed again.
Well, I will take ATVO crashing over iRacing crashing.
Yes, as we actually had a battle for leads. Once again, real quick, I'm going to do this. And try and get this up as quick as I can.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, never mind. I constantly forget that.
Well, this is a first. I've never had this crash, and now it's crashed twice.
Yeah, that's Mike Skinner really putting it on here to get back to the lead. And Blade Timmons really doing an excellent job as well, trying to get back to the front. Mike Skinner's going to go way up to that high line. I see them, when they go way up to the high line, they seem to go higher than they want to when they make that move. And then they try to overcorrect themselves down and get loose and lose a little bit of speed. So it actually ends up hurting them more than helping them. Now Brian Deegan's your leader. He's gotten around Rowdy Burns and stuff.
I'm just going to do top 4 because I don't feel like typing everything out again. So should do the results page. That's all I need right now. Trying to get timing and scoring back up. And all right, I think we're somewhat okay.
And somebody we haven't really seen, and I'm not sure where he is after the pit stops and having such a terrible one, is Chase Elliott.
He is still mired.
He's not been able to climb back, and you can actually see Matt Crafton and Timothy Peters are falling back, as is Cole Custer.
Yeah, I just saw that on timing and scoring too. He was right in front of these guys.
He's battling with them, and now Snoop Dogg's going to go to the inside. Matt Crafton on the wrong line. You can see that high line, really, you got to be able to run it well, and some of these guys just can't.
It's definitely requires a little bit of finesse, as some people say.
As the one to really keep a watch on, is he's been dominant in this stage getting forward, is Blade Timmons. That truck has gone forward all of this stage.
It's the right time to do it. It's back up front. Rob Mack now leads. Michael Waltrip, Brian Deegan, Cole Trickle, and you mentioned it, Blade Timmons now to your top 5 as he's actually looking to lose that to Bill Elliott.
Well, certainly, he seems like one of those guys that can hold that high line now.
As Rowdy can use the fall now too, as he's now just inside the top 10.
So there's still plenty of time. You know, these guys have a pit stop to make. Certainly, there is no real worry here for any of these guys really in the top 11. As long as you are in contact with the leader, I think you still have a chance at this race. But certainly, as you get further and further away from the leader, that's when you start panicking a little.
So, one thing ATVO crashing did hurt us with is the strategy, because now it says they're on an 80 lap stint. So we will kind of have to just go by ear as far as that's concerned.
Well, we know they pitted at the stage, which was lap 60, so they were on like lap 61. Went back with 66 to go. So.
And there's 50 to go right now.
Yep. Well, they're on.
Apparently, which I would believe that because.
Yeah, no, that sounds right, because it goes based off of what lap they're on versus how many are in the race. That's about
only like 15 laps,
16
right?
laps?
Something like that.
About 16 laps, old tires. A few extra laps of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there were 2 or 3 laps under caution. Really running under caution, you don't really eat your tires too badly. Anything, so.
So somebody I pointed out hadn't called his number all day, haven't really said his name. Stuart Friesen. I think I gave him the broadcast curse.
Because he is 26 now, yeah. Yeah, that didn't go well for him.
I forgot that quick, though. He did also get in the wall, so that could be a little bit why as well.
Oh, that is true, yes.
But even guys like Cole Custer, up front all day, now battling for 13th with Timothy Peters, and even Roddy Burns. He's fallen to 9th, and he's struggled to kind of make his way back to the front like we're accustomed to him, seeing so far this race. And even Elliot, he's only 16th.
Yeah, he's the biggest surprise, I think, right now. But it's kind of like what happened with Elliot at Kentucky, it seems like. He got into that dirty air, and he just couldn't go anywhere. So Mike Skinner is going to be on the outside of Dale Earnhardt Sr.
So actually, Waltrip and McCachran, not really
Pulling
battling,
away.
but they've pulled out to half a second now over Cole Trickle.
Yeah, it seems like when it comes down to it, in any of these races, they battle throughout the first and second stage, but as soon as we get to that final stage, something just clicks and somebody starts going.
And last week it was definitely Rowdy, which I would argue in a little different track here. It seems like you've obviously touched on before, that second line a little bit more viable. As looks like Timmons, maybe the same thing that we talked about with, I believe it was Custer, maybe a little snug on entry. And Burns just, right now, I'd say he's hooked up for that top line in 1 and 2. He's going to go top to bottom and go 2 for 1, it looks like.
He's going to try to. And he's going to do it.
Power move by Burns.
So you said he seemed to have struggled to get back towards the front, but he's going back towards the front now. He's getting it figured out again.
Like ATVO just crashed again.
Wonderful. I mean, it's still up for me.
Yeah, but I'm frozen on timing and scoring. It's still highlighted on Rowdy, and I'm trying to click on Skinner.
We'll
wait and see.
And everything else is... Yeah, the ticker's not moving either.
I'll try and click
so
again.
Interesting. Well, it wouldn't be a NORA broadcast without technical difficulties.
Well, see, the funny thing is, too, this is the first time. Like I said, it's never crashed. It's never done anything. We had the iRacing glitch the one time, but nothing... Yeah, there it goes. Nothing ATVO related, though. And now it's been 3 times to where it has not liked us, to say the least.
Yeah, and I don't know what's causing it either. I wish I did, but
I'm gonna
it's
try
just so weird.
the older version that doesn't have the stages and stuff on it. See if maybe that will
allow us to
help.
finish.
Yeah, because that one I was using is the one, like I said, that you can put the stages and all that stuff in. So I'm just gonna go.
It does mean we're gonna have a much faster ticker now.
Why is that?
Because this one doesn't have the slow ticker option.
Oh, I
of
didn't
the
even know
slow
that was a
ticker.
thing.
Like, it's not it. Alex, I guess Alex didn't send you the slow ticker one.
Maybe. Well,
I have it. It's a much slower ticker. It's easier to read.
well, you might be right on that one. I don't know.
Well, I might have to send you that for tomorrow.
41 to go. So I believe it is 25 laps or so on this run.
Yeah, I think they're. I think we should see them in with about 20 to go.
Hopefully it doesn't crash again, but as you mentioned, it wouldn't be a NORA broadcast without issues. This is the first ATVO kind of specific.
Related issue. With yours. It's not the first time it's happened to me, but it is for you.
Which is kind of concerning considering, like I said, we haven't had an issue the whole time, but so let's see, any updates that I can give. Elliot up to 15th, Custer right in front of him in 14th, because they're actually battling, and I forgot to put this one up again. So there's that one. Timmons back to 12th, Crafton
Moving
10th.
forward. Yep.
Yeah, 10th.
Should be 10th.
And Deegan just is actually battling with Custer's. Burns going to the inside of Bill Elliott. And this battle rages on as well.
As now Crafton's going to look to the inside of Junior.
Watch this kind of double battle, so to speak, going on. As Deegan actually holds on to the outside, and Waltrip's starting to pull away from Rob Mack.
And Bill Elliott makes an immediate crossover move, and it doesn't work. They got real tight underneath Rowdy, and it just went up to him. Had to get off of it and kind of turn away.
Tell you what,
Otherwise,
Deegan holding strong in this second groove. I think it's, lap and a half so far?
Yeah, he's absolutely been the best I think I've seen all day running that high line. So certainly an excellent job by Brian Deegan to be able to put this thing to the high side and really power through. But it's, at some point it's going to be too much on that low line. And I think Trickle's going to get through. And if he's not careful, Rowdy Burns is going to go with him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've seen Rowdy go 3 wide already. He might consider it again.
Oh, he actually backs out of that, and I think he got really loose there, and it went all the way down to the inside.
Yeah, we'll let him figure that one out. Beats me on that one. But I mentioned Waltrip's kind of pulling away. Looks like Rob Mack slowly starting to reel him back in. Deegan not necessarily done with Trickle. Burns kind of just riding right now. Senior catching Bill Elliott. Rosler kind of all by himself. And then we got these two, Crafton and Timmons, kind of ever since that first pit stop where they both went towards the middle / back of the pack. They've been kind of stuck together, so to speak.
Yeah, they've certainly been doing their thing to try to get up to the front. Certainly not.
Custer struggling this final stage.
Yeah, and Mike Skinner's day continues to go from bad to worse as he keeps falling back too.
It's surprising the track temp's getting warmer as obviously we go a little bit later into the day, but yeah, I noticed, like you said, Skinner and even Custer for that matter too seem like they're kind of struggling as this race progresses on and we close towards the end of the race. As Senior makes a pass on Elliott and Trickle now back to Ryan Deegan.
Well, no, I believe Deegan got back to the inside of Trickle to get around him.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm trying to watch all the battles.
It's all right. Yeah, I believe Trickle had gotten around him, and I guess they pulled the crossover and got back underneath him. As Menzies is holding the outside against Timothy Peters here. But I think, like we said, eventually that high line, it just can't hold any longer in that low line. It kind of prevails in the end usually. But it certainly will get you somewhere.
Got back around Senior, and actually Rosler closed down this group as well from them battling. Bill got a little loose, and Senior's going to use that top to try and muscle back around.
And the only thing this is going to do is now bring those behind him, such as Crafton and Timmons, towards the front. And I don't know that you want to see that, because those two at one point were like 30th and 27th, and they've just kind of been going forward. And they're really not battling either. They're just kind of, Timmons just kind of putting his nose a little bit to the inside, keeping his nose clean. And they're pretty, they look quick to me.
Yeah, they're running low sixes, right about what Rowdy Burns is putting down. Burns obviously ran down Trickle and just made the pass pretty much with ease as he's already clear. Trickle, the run on the top, actually to pull back to his right rear, but Burns should clear here. You get in the corner as he will. You know what I just noticed right there? Watching that, we've noticed a lot of guys, and they take that entry into one extremely loose. Burns sailed into the corner. That truck did not move one bit.
As I had mentioned, that Blade and Crafton weren't really battling, but well, now they are, for whatever reason.
I think they caught that pack, kind of slowed themselves up a little bit, and allowed Timmons to kind of take advantage. But you just see already that they've lost touch of that pack already. But they're still battling, so that'll change here probably in another lap or two.
Yep, certainly, when they start battling like that, you get those advantages. Blade's going to have his advantage on the outside. It is. So this could play a factor into a lot of things as well, as you see that Cochran had to run that high line.
So Clanton's at the finish line.
And now Deegan is being held up, so here comes Rowdy Burns. And if he picks the wrong line, he's going to be stuck behind base.
Which he does. And
Trickle's going to get by.
Gotta love the AI. And Trickle's actually got 2 for 1 as well.
Yeah, and you have to think that even if Rowdy would have just went to the complete high line, he probably would have gotten around base. He just decided to ride right behind him in his tire tracks.
And I'll be honest, I thought he would go 3, because we've seen him do it already this race, but he didn't. So we're down to 28 to go, so we've got to be pretty close now.
Yeah, and to note, well, it does say caution 0 and caution marks 0 is 2 and 8.
Correct.
So there's just the stage cautions. That's all we've had today.
So we're still going on with the battle here, as Deegan gets back to the inside of Trickle.
And that battle, both battles, the 3-car battle in front of the Kraft and Timmons battle, is going to be affected by Baston.
That's actually true.
As in fact it is now. As Rosler, who was, he was going to get a great run, it looked like there. Now all of a sudden he is stuck behind Baston. So what's the decision going to be for Blade? Timmons is... Actually, Baston went to the inside line and is going to stack up everyone behind him.
As I know you said you don't have sound, but I did hear, as we were watching Timmons go into 3, I believe it was, let me check timing and scoring, it was Clanton. Was about right there, getting ready to get lapped, I believe. A little further than actually I thought, but it sounded a lot closer.
It usually does.
Just kind of spread this battle out, but now you look at Crafton, lost touch with Timmons, and Basin is now closed. Menzies, Jr., Peters, Elliot, Custer, right up to these guys.
Absolutely. How quickly things can change with just one lap truck. And watch Peters. I figured as soon as I saw him on that high line, I said, that's the guy to watch there, and it works. Peters gets around everybody in that group on the absolute high line because he wasn't being blocked off by Baston as somebody hit pit road.
It was Michael Waltrip, so this is your battle for the lead, just about.
Well, Cochran is your leader at the moment.
So 24 to go.
You can see, even with Burns and Deegan battling, look at how quickly they caught McCackran.
I think they're all actually coming in right here, it looked like.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like maybe Colt. No, there's pretty much everybody.
Yep.
Actually, it is.
Skinner's going to gain a lot of time.
Yes, he did. So we're going to see
here.
Out. Snoop stays out. He
don't think he led the lap, but he stayed out. Waltrip with a 19.4.
And
2 lappers here, Friesen and Owens. Actually, with better pit stops, but Russ Wheeler stayed out as well. Alexis Susi and Tyler Erb also stayed out. So we'll watch, well, Faust and Hornaday as well.
But we'll have to watch where Mikey comes out in comparison to the leaders.
Clanton.
As they're all
McCackern,
leaving
Burns.
now.
Custer, terrible pit stop.
As did Crafton.
Actually, not too bad, 16.7. Crafton was an 18.9. Waltrip gets back by Timmons. Next would be Burns.
So Roddy Burns' picker really got him a great pit stop.
Cochran a 14.8, Burns a 15.9 to Waltrip's 19.4, Timmons a 15.0. So as you can see, Timmons jumped Elliot, Trickle, and Deegan. As Elliot and Trickle 16.3, 16.6 to Deegan 17.9. Menzies, Rosler, Peters, and even Skinner a 14.5. So your two drivers, Peters and Skinner's good pit stops.
Yep, but the one that hurt was Crafton.
Yeah, 18.9. Right now sitting 14th as everybody in front of him is pitted. So Custer 15th, Papa Bear, Chase 17th, Senior as well, a 21.1.
He had one of the worst pit stops for sure.
There's actually three of my drivers. My 13.7 for Ryan. Goodness. Best pit stop at everybody.
Too bad he doesn't have the truck right now to back it up.
Yeah. It's Friesen and Larson are going to battle. Yeah, everybody's pitted. It's just kind of, you're running with what you got. As it's a 1 second lead right now for McCackern. As Waltrip has caught Burns.
I was going to say, he's going to like what he sees out of his rear view mirrors. Those two are going to get after it. But what he now has to worry about is the lead truck. He's the first on the road to clear the road. And doesn't always help.
So it's Payne Faust right here between this battle and then the Timmons and Bill Elliott battle. So we're down to 20 to go.
So we'll see who's going to get the win. Will it be a first-time winner in either McCackern or I believe Rowdy Burns? I don't think he's won yet.
Yeah, questionably should have won last week, but
certainly. Or will it be Michael Waltrip repeat?
Which I believe he would be our fourth repeat winner. Because we got Raikkonen and I believe Lauda and then Harvick.
Yep.
So Waltrip clears Burns.
Will it be somebody else? Will they take each other out and kill one another?
That's possible as well. Not likely, but it's possible.
As McCackern catches Hornaday at one of the worst possible moments, he has to back out right when he needs to be full throttle the whole way through there to really get the best run through that front stretch. But certainly now you see Burns and Waltrip battling the fresh tires. And that outside line, maybe now it's got enough rubber that the new tire advantage for the inside doesn't help us. Now Hornaday is going to go to the inside of McCackern. This is not what he wants to see.
I believe Hornaday 4 laps. He's got a lap fresher tires, but it's holding them up. You can kind of see it. That gap was like 1.2, 1.3, and it is now 0.8.
Certainly, this battle is closing, and now Rowdy Burns is able, it looks like, to clear Michael Waltrip, but this battle in front of them is not over, which is the incredible thing to say, because you can see just how much it allows Rowdy Burns to catch up through just the back straightaway. Now, will he be able to use Hornaday to get around, or to carry enough speed to get around McCackern with ease? He is going to be able to go to the inside here, and he's really getting a great run there to 1 and 2. Michael not as lucky, can't get through there right away, and now Rowdy Burns is going to look to the inside, going into a 3 and 4. I think he might be taking the lead, and unless there is something drastic that happens, that could be a possible winning move.
Next one is Alexis Susi. They shouldn't catch Stewie with only 15 to go, but we'll obviously keep an eye. And I noticed there too, when Rowdy went to get under Hornaday, he took about the same entry, but instead of kind of drifting up a little bit like we've seen, he took
all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, he went right to the bottom, cleared, and gained a lot of time on McCackern. But yeah, I agree, that is potentially your race-winning move right there. Because actually Bill and Blade are starting to catch up too, as McCackern's going to get to his right rear, it looks like.
Yeah, they might start battling here. Waltrip struggling to get around Hornaday. taken, I think, 2 or 3 laps to do it.
This Burns
And
actually
it's
hit the
not
bottom.
over yet.
Hit the bottom again. Got a
But
good
look at the
entry.
run McCackern got off there. His Hornada's going to come back to the outside of Michael Waltrip.
Well, you know, Blade's licking his chops here as McCackern momentarily to the lead. He actually will clear Burns back as now Timmons going to look to the inside of Bill Elliott for 4th.
Well, this is just incredible. We saw it kind of take place in the GT4 race where one of the lappers kind of screwed with the lead battle right at the end. And it's not really for the win that Hornaday's messing with, but certainly it's a battle.
I think he's played a factor because, you know, this arguably was a one-truck race. If McCackern could have got clear, he couldn't, and here we are. As actually Waltrip and Timmons got clear, and they're starting to run him back down.
Yeah, so
actually, real quick, look out back from the fan cam. This pack's coming too.
Oh yeah, and the other pack is not too far behind them either. In fact, they're just about pretty much on that pack.
The next one, like we said, is Alexis Soucy's. We're coming to 11 to go. They shouldn't catch Friesen as he is right there. Soucy's right there, and then Roddy Burns starting to get back to McCackern. He's looked to the inside, I believe, right here in the 1.
Will he be able to get this done? He's going to get a great run through there, and he is able to clear him through the entry and middle of the corner, but it's the exit where McCackern gets a great run on that high line. We see it continue to work. That high line is a thing of beauty when it's run well, and it's being run well here today in Atlanta.
I wouldn't be surprised too if we. Oh, actually, Bill Elliott got clear. Look at Bill. Got clear finally, and he has run these guys down.
Well, they don't call him Awesome Bill from Dawsonville for no reason. He certainly wants to get a win in his home state and at his home track, essentially.
Burns going to use that second groove to his advantage, hopefully here down the backstretch.
And it's all going to come into a factor of who's going to be the one in the wrong lane.
I mean, I have to argue it'd be Burns at this point, but you know, so they're not there yet, so we don't know for sure. We're now at 9 to go.
And Burns is now going to pull the crossover, go to the inside, and try to get back around McCackern as he looks for the lead. This is an incredible battle to the finish. And dare we say it, best race so far?
I would argue as a competition standpoint, yeah. I mean, we've had racing basically all race basically. Real quick, as we watch this battle, update, obviously Timmons 3rd, Skinner 10th, Crafton 13th, Custer 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So, McCackern's going to clear. With this battle, no,
no, he's not going to clear.
He's not going to clear.
Yep. But
as Burns will clear.
You can see, though, as they continue to battle like this, that green and black Grizzly truck just keeps inching closer and closer. So there's certainly something we had here as we take a look at the digger cam. Oh, dear God, what a great cam. That's a great angle there. Look at Mikey with the run on the outside, and they all have the draft now. They're all here. This is no longer a 2-truck race for the win. This is a 5-truck race. Well, actually, I stand corrected. It might not be a 4-truck race for second.
You said that, and I looked, and I was like, timing and scoring says it is now a 0.8 of a second lead. And I come up to look, and this might be wise. I'll change this to the last lap time. There's your lap time right there for the leader. And that could be why.
Wow.
Even Waltrip hit a 2, Elliot with a 3, and Blade with a 4. But that lead right now, 0.8 of a second. But here's where we saw it kind of hurt McCackern. We're coming to 5 to go. This could be the make-or-break move for Roddy Burns. Again, arguably had the race won last week. Late race pit stop. Shouldn't have to pit for sure here. It's definitely not as close as what it was. We're only on 18 laps in the stint.
Follow Alexa right through, and this is going to bring all of them back.
Not as bad as it did for Rob, though, for sure.
Well, he hasn't cleared her yet, though. That's the problem.
But actually, they will catch Friesen with his damage.
And Rowdy still hasn't cleared Alexa. And this is where the Hornaday battle was kind of coming into it. Hornaday was battling so hard with McCachran that was what was causing him to lose time. And you can see just how much McCachran has caught Rowdy Burns.
31-6 to McCachran's 31-3, but now McCachran's gonna have to be the one to deal with it. Let's see if Waltrip and Timmons can kind of capitalize. It's right now not looking like it. Looks like McCachran's actually gonna clear Susie. So a huge move for McCachran. We're now to 3 to go in this race.
Well, this is going to be interesting because I believe, like you said, they're going to catch Friesen probably going into 3 and 4.
I think they'll get him maybe a lap and a half to go.
I would say either no, might even be as early as 1 and 2 possibly.
Susie's actually staying with McCachran right now. As Waltrip's kind of falling back, actually Elliot gets to his inside. Timmons going to follow him through in that second groove.
Second groove really gets a great run off the corner, but sometimes it's just not enough as Bill Elliott's going to go through. And now Timmons actually looked to the inside there for a moment.
McCachran now starting to fall back again. 31-3 for Burns, 31-5 for McCachran. To Friesen's 31-9. We're coming to the white flag. As actually, speaking of the white flag, I believe this next update that I was talking about will give us green-white checkers.
Have they announced that for sure? Because I know that.
I thought you said you were the one. I thought you were the one that said it. My bad.
Yeah, no, they didn't announce it. That was one of the things that they were asking about in the forums, and they said, "We think you're gonna like what the next update is." So.
Well, that's my bad, but they did catch Friesen, but Burns is going to get clear. Probably should have had a win last week, but he says, you know, it wasn't a fluke. I'm going to come out and win the next one. Rowdy Burns wins from Hotlanta.
Rob McCachran comes home second. Bill Elliott for third. Actually using Alexis Susie as a last-second pick to make sure that he holds on to it.
An update real quick on the guys we were talking about. Skinner going to come home 11th. Crafton 13th and Custer 14th.
So certainly not the day those guys wanted. The bright side there, I think Skinner's probably going to hold on to second place in the points, but he most likely loses the point lead to Deegan and Waltrip.
So I think I've somewhat solved the issue. Hopefully that'll change for tomorrow night, but
hopefully.
Good race. I think, like you said, I think as far as like a competition standpoint, one of the best ones we've seen in a long time. You can see it from this camera angle right here. There is a bunch of rubber laid down this racetrack.
Yeah, it's going almost all the way up to the wall, which is certainly a first we've seen. And I'm excited to see what the Xfinity and Cup cars can do and whether or not it's going to rain.
That is true, which I will look that one up before we go off the air here in a second. But again, we mentioned it. Rowdy Burns probably should have gotten the win last week in Kentucky, but comes back tonight, grabs the win over Rob McCachran. Bill Elliott third. Blade Timmons a strong fourth as well. Michael Waltrip fifth. Brian Deegan sixth. Bryce Menzies seventh. Cole Trickle 8th, Larry Rosler 9th, and Downer Jr. 10th. And you look at that top 10, only one Chevy, and it was Cole Trickle.
Well, they've got bad news. All of the rubber is going to be washed away.
Could have rained tonight.
It's raining right now.
Oh, well, there you
go. So, Mike Skinner comes home 11th, Timothy Peters in 12th, Matt Crafton in 13th. The old Nightmare Trucks do it again and finish just outside of the top 10 for the second week in a row. Cole Custer 14th, 15th is Chase Elliott, 16th is Jimmy Owens, 17th is Dale Earnhardt Sr., 18th is Zane Smith, 19th is Snoop Dogg, and 20th is Ryan Dungey.
21st, Sheldon Creed, 22nd, Papa Bear, 23rd, Mikolaj Geilis, 24th, Seabell, 25th, Harry Potter, 26th, Ryan Conover, 27th, Kyle Larson, Old Young Money, 28th, Tyler Erb, 29th, Russ Wheeler, and 30th, your first truck, one lap down, old Stewie Friesen.
31st is Alexis Susi. 32nd, Ron Hornaday Jr. 33rd, Payne Faust. 34th, Shane Clanton. 35th, Spencer Baston. And 36th, and surprisingly, the only truck to not finish today.
I want to point out, too, Papa Bear got involved in that incident with Rudd. Managed to stay out, hang on, pulls out a 22nd place finish.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
But that's obviously all we got for the truck race. I guess, once again, we kind of gave the Xfinity guys the shaft, for say, and we don't really know what to expect coming into tomorrow's race here. So, kind of a raw, what are you expecting for tomorrow?
I expect that the track is going to be very low line centric for the first portion of the race, and as rubber builds up with a much longer race, we'll see it move up, and then it kind of benefit the Cup Series for the day after, where it's not going to rain tomorrow.
Well, that's always a bonus. I think we're in for a treat. Obviously, everybody that makes the race, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's only been a week, and I forget already. But
I believe so. I don't think we're over 36 cars.
Okay, well, that's a bonus too. I think we're in shaping up for a good truck series already. Because I know, like we said, Rowdy should have won last week, but didn't get it. But Custer got it, so a new winner. And then obviously tonight, Rowdy finally gets it, so another new winner. I believe that is no repeat winners in the truck series, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Correct, and certainly it's a close battle too for if there is a repeat winner on points.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one as well. I know we touched on it earlier, and I actually forgot to mention it tonight, but we'll touch on it real quick. So tomorrow we also had the Xfinity race from here. Then we have our actual Cup Series race from, I believe, Homestead. And for the first time, actually in NORA's history, and the first time this season, we go to our pill draw style grid. So no qualifying tomorrow night, set grid. I know the front row consists of Justin White and Matthew George, and probably the odds-on favorite, Dalton Tucker, point leader, swept both the races so far this year. He will roll off from 12th.
Oof.
So something I'm excited for, even just as a broadcast perspective, because I know I've been talking to Dalton, and he said, clean air is key. It's going to be interesting, he said himself, to get to the front, have to work through traffic, because he said that the Cup car at Homestead was, for lack of better terms, garbage in traffic. And, like I said, he's obviously going to roll from 12th. I know his teammate Tony Manji, I think, missed the road course, I believe. Or might have been the 500, maybe. He missed one of the races, I think.
I think he missed the 500 because I think I was battling with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
The road course.
So I know he's buried way back. I think it was like the third group maybe to get assigned a starting spot. So yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of watch him as well. As actually real quick, he was in the third group. He is scheduled to roll off from outside of row 18.
Oof.
So, which obviously, if people don't show up, that'll change. But projected to start that deep, and even if one or two don't show up, you're still going to be buried out to the top 30. You would imagine. So that first stage is going to be tough for Tony. It'll be interesting, like I said, to kind of see what Dalton can do rolling from 12th. But I'm excited for it. I know we did our truck series grid as well. I got, well, for lack of better words, lucky with mine, because I think I was like 7th or so in owner's points and managed to get the pole with two teammates, second and third. And I'm excited for it. I think we'll have mixed feedback, obviously, because you guys that either missed a race or missed two races or whatever, will start towards the back like Manji, for say, and won't necessarily like that style of setting the grid and stuff. But at the same time, it's fair for everybody. Everybody gets set the same way. And it's almost an incentive to kind of fill your rides if you're an owner, or show up if you're going for a title.
Yeah, certainly. It's you got to be at the races to score points, and you got to score points to be able to make the race. And so, going to be an interesting start for sure. I know I'm excited about Vegas, but as for the Xfinity Series, you know, Bobby Labonte's got a new pit crew. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Certainly, I would assume the new pit crew doesn't want to end up like the old pit crew, although it wouldn't be in Kentucky this time. Because there's no longer second chances. They've had it. Matt Crafton's, this was like the first bad race I've seen from his pit crew. I'm going to let them slide for this one. They'll get a talking to, but it keeps happening. Team's called Nightmare for a reason.
Well, interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm excited to kind of see what happens. And obviously, like we said, we kind of gypped the Xfinity Series, or even the Cup Series this week. I know they have not had practice at all here, which obviously they did actually just loaded up from Kentucky, I believe, last night.
Correct.
So
I don't even know if
in.
Well, I was just say there was about probably 10 cars that could have loaded up the same car and brought it. As for the rest of the field, they had to go back to Charlotte or wherever.
Yeah, so I'd say, like you said, about 10 of them are here already, and we're waiting for the rest. But luckily, they get another day to come and prepare, for say.
I know I had to send 3 of them back to Tampa to go get new cars, and then I think it was Ryan Hunter Ray who managed to keep the car clean. We brought that car here, so that car is good to go. The backups came with it, just in case, and you know, here's to a good race, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Certainly,
it all starts,
certainly a lot of lead changes in this one. I can't wait to see what the official number was, and we'll probably update you guys tomorrow during the Xfinity broadcast.
More than likely. I know, like I said, I'm more so excited tomorrow, obviously, to see the Xfinity race, but more so how that random pill draw is going to work for our actual Cup Series. It kind of give us a little sneak peek for the truck race next Monday as well. I mean, granted, you know, trucks, different drivers, obviously completely different racetrack, really, but still, you know, the same pill draw. I would argue a couple strong names, kind of mid-pack-ish, so it'll be fun. But if you're good with what we've done tonight, I think we're ready to call it a night and head back to the old hotel.
Yep, we're going to head back to the hotel, and then we've got to immediately catch a flight back to Florida following the Xfinity race tomorrow for both of us, because we're both in the booth.
Yeah, another busy day tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
It's better than going from Brazil to Atlanta, but...
Well, that's why it took so long to do this one.
Yeah, we're trying. But no, for myself, Mr. Conover in the booth, my counterpart,
Nick Gillis.
we will see you guys tomorrow for